Ainsley, what are we up
Hello.
to? July, state of the market.
I know. Can't believe we're in July, to be honest, and the end of
July.
it too.
Yeah, yeah, but a lot happening, right?
Oh my gosh, is there ever? We have been flat out. But let's just start with the elephant in the room. The RBA didn't drop rates this month, which is
No, no.
unfortunate.
Anyone who watched our last update was it
Yeah,
97% chance,
that's
and it
right.
didn't happen. So a lot of people, obviously anyone with a mortgage was pretty, disappointed, I guess. Uh,
Yeah,
and there's another meeting in about 3 weeks' time.
yeah.
And what do you know? There's a 98% chance, according to the site we look at, ASX Rate Tracker, if anyone wants to Google it, gets updated every day. So let's see. Let's see if it happens. It appears that it will happen, but let's see.
Everyone's fingers are crossed, that's for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
And what have you been up to over the
Yeah,
last
well,
month? You did something different this week, which
I
we
did, I
haven't
did,
seen in
I
a
did. So
while.
I was into this, went into the city, and I was asked to do a presentation to a group of first home buyers in a company. So it was fantastic. Absolutely loved it. Had so many amazing questions, an amazing group of people, really positive company. So it's good to be there. Yeah, and part of it's the education piece, things that we do every day. Yeah, how people get into the market, what are the steps, what professionals do you need? Yeah, loved it. So yeah.
Brilliant. I'll just lead in with that with what professionals do you need? We've had a lot of first home buyers in the last 3 to 4 weeks buying, like a lot, but majority of them are using buyers advocates.
Yeah, it's been huge. And trying to compete against someone who's not someone who's not using a buyer's advocate, competing against someone who is, yeah,
Is
it's often behind the eight ball. So
yeah,
we had a client, well, maybe 10 days ago now, that was really keen on a property. And I remember saying, oh, I think you're going to need to move quickly on that particular one. There was a reason why. And I said, I think you need to talk to a buyer's advocate. And it was interesting in the end because there was another party involved who wasn't using an advocate, but the seller had been burnt before with someone pulling out on a subject of finance. So the seller basically said, "No, we just want to deal with the client who had the buyer's advocate." Now that's a bit unusual, but
yeah,
we knew the buyer's advocate well. I mean, we recommended that buyer's advocate, and they moved really quickly, took the place off the market,
yeah.
and the clients are over the moon. So yeah, buyer's advocates, yeah, helping a lot of clients at the moment.
They are well worth it too, with what they can say. A lot of
It's a good one.
first
Got to
home
use a good one.
buyers or
Yeah,
don't want to use part of their savings, to hire someone to do something. But in the long run, the amount of money that you'll save by using an advocate to do all your bidding and everything compared to you who's never done it before, they're well
yeah,
worth the expense.
yeah. And sorry, I was probably talking over you then. So with
Yeah.
everyone listening, I was just saying, yeah, you've got to use a good buyer's advocate, right? There are
Yes.
plenty of advocates, but really important to use a good buyer's advocate because it does cost money, and you want someone who's got a lot of experience and really cares about your needs. So
Yeah.
yeah, we're fortunate that we know quite a few good ones, which is great.
Yes, absolutely. I just want to mention, I think it's something that's important for us to mention because it's so popular in daily living at the moment is those buy now, pay later schemes. So Zip Pay, Afterpay, PayPal Pay. There's so many different ones I can't keep track, but legislation was passed that they now will be reportable on your credit report and they will be regulated. So they won't be a quick, tap and go, you've been approved. You now have to provide evidence that you can service a debt, just like you can with a personal loan, etc. So
Yeah.
that's something that we need to, I guess, educate our customers on and all you guys out there as well, that those buy now, pay laters will now start affecting your credit report.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
big. Their credit reports, they just seem to be becoming more and more important. Most of the time, they're totally fine. So we don't want
Yeah.
people panicking, but there's still a percentage, I don't know, let's just say 10%, where, yeah, there is something on the credit report, something that will have a bearing, and it can affect the lender that we go to. And sometimes it affects the timing. Sometimes we're like, oh, we might need to wait 3 months. So again, we're probably talking 10% of clients, and sometimes it's for something that the client's not aware of, and it may not be their fault. But at the end
Yes.
of the day, it still can affect what happens. So as a business, we've been running a credit report proactively for all of our clients before we look at loan options for many, many years now. And
Yes.
it really helps. Yeah.
Yeah, it does. Absolutely. I guess there's one other thing that I think we should mention that we've come across in the last month that is good for people to know about as well. In the industry, we call it best interest duty. But do you want to explain the situation that happened and why it's so important that you use a broker?
Yeah, so we had a client recently who was pre-approved at one of the majors. So the pre-approval, it was a pre-approval, but it was basically that the client went to a friend of hers, or just had a general chat, and that friend said, "Oh, you got to go and talk to the guys, at Finance for Living." And anyway, so I had a good chat with the client, and the product that she was pre-approved for actually wasn't the one that was the most suitable. So we presented that product along with a different product from that same bank that suited the needs better, along with a couple of other lenders that had suitable products with lower rates. So the client is over the moon. But one of the benefits with a broker is we can look at multiple lenders, whereas going direct to a lender, they don't follow the best interest duty because they can only look at their own product. So they can't look at 30 different lenders that we can.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's very, very useful. Now back to you, Ain. So school zones. What's happened with school zones recently?
Oh, so I had a client who called me during the month to say that all public school offers for next year had gone through, and they live really quite close to two schools, and they didn't get into either one of them. One's 750 metres down the road and the other one's just over a kilometre. So they're now considering moving. It's just the school zones now are getting so tough in Melbourne and regionally as well. Whether it be public or private, they're still zoned to certain extents, the privates. I guess people now have to consider when they're looking for their home and they have young children, it's now time to also, unfortunately, look that far ahead in the future and try and find something in a zone for a school that, you really want them to go to.
Yeah, and that ties in nicely with one of our questions on all of our chats. What's the dream? What do you really want to do?
Yeah.
And sometimes it's the size of the home, but sometimes it's the postcode. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yep. Excellent.
I think we've had a pretty good chat there.
Okay.
I hope everyone got something out of this month's one.
Excellent. Great. So until till the end of August, unless if there is actually that rate cut.
That's right.
If the 98% actually holds up this time. So till next month.
Fingers crossed. See you guys. Bye.
Thanks, bye. Bye.